Frank Walters here, and welcome to Virtual Watercolours. One of the problems I think with lockdown is that you can't paint en plein air, really. You can't get outside and you can't paint in the open air. So what I started doing, I on Facebook there's a group called Beautiful Britain, and the members there post some fantastic photographs of Britain. And here's one of them by Nigel Cliff. It's of a Dudley Number 2 Canal up there in the Black Country. It's not an area I know particularly well, but I love Nigel's photo. If we look at it, it's got a nice vanishing point there in the middle. It takes you through this path and the water. You got the interest of the bridge here. I think what's really important about it is the light. Always important with watercolour. It's a lovely sunny day, lovely blue sky, which is reflected down here. If we half close our eyes, we can see where the values are. We've got that dark linking around here. This whole section is fairly dark, and the dark shadow there. Then we have reflection of that lovely blue sky here in the water. And a couple of things that are really important, I think, certainly the vanishing point, but also like little things like this bit of light here and then reflected in the water. A little tiny thing like that will be really important. I think also these shadows and the decision on what colour these shadows will be. Here's a little tip. First of all, I printed this off, and what I did to make life easy, I just use one of my pencils, which is a graphite pencil, which is fairly dark, just scribbled on the back, and then you can lay this over a bit of paper. This is watercolour paper, the 140-pound Saunders Waterford cold press, so make sure you use good paper. Stick that on top, and then just use a hard pencil and just draw through, and then you've got a bit of a shape. Or you can be totally traditional, just draw it freehand. It doesn't really matter. But I think the shapes and the composition, this composition leading into the shot is very, very important. And that angle as well, really, really important. That's why I just trace that off. Right, okay, we're going to do a quick watercolour painting. I've got my colours here. I've also got two brushes I'm going to work with today. The first one is a mop style Petit Gris imitation number 4. Nice big floppy brush that I can put all the first washes on. The second one, the second brush I'm using is called a Spin Synthetic. It's a fairly new one. I normally use round Kolinsky sables and have been for many years, but just recently I tried this synthetic brush from Da Vinci, and it holds a lot of water. It's got a really fine point, and it's really nice to use. I'm quite enjoying using this. So anyway, those are two brushes. You can see I've already sort of started to pre-mix raw sienna, which is really important to this paint. This is all raw sienna here. I've got some cerulean blue for here and here. What I'll do is I'll be mixing the raw sienna to get that sort of brick red, and well, you'll see the three phases as I go along painting this particular scene. The other thing that's interesting here is that I normally paint landscape. When I say landscape, I mean landscape shape. A landscape shape is that way. That's a landscape shape. This is called a portrait shape, and I don't often paint in portrait, but I really like Nigel's photo, and I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. Let's go and paint a portrait shape landscape painting. So let's give it a try. Let's see how this works. So okay, let's start with this brush. Let's get some water in there. Let's get into the raw sienna, and what we're doing is called our first light wash. This is how it works. Just getting it in there. Lovely. And also over here. There. dark in here. Just going to push up a little bit up here too. Right, I'm going to let's get some of this. Through there. Through there. You can see it's, what I'll do is I'll just do a slightly lighter element, just continue that round. Just going to add a little bit of burnt sienna to my raw sienna. Leave a little touch of a highlight on there. And that basically is our first light wash. That's what you do. That's the first light wash. No more, no less. And then we have to let that dry. Right, okay. That's now nice and dry. Still a little bit cockled, but that cockling will end up getting flat because it is 140 £1 in weight, so it's fairly thick paper. But I think we're ready to go now with now into our mid-tones. Just a reminder where we are. We've done the first light wash. We've got these basic colours in. One thing that's missing is the green, and I think that's going to be next. So green's quite a notoriously difficult colour to use in watercolour, believe it or not. It seems bizarre. What do? Mix blue and yellow and you got green, voila. But if only life was that simple. I use one real green, which is called olive green. I also have another colour here, which is turquoise, which mixes really well with olive. So you can see immediately I'm getting a different colour. Right, let's have a look. On the side of my board, I always try the colour out first just to see what it sort of looks like, whether I like it. That's not too bad. This is real grass green, isn't it, really, here? Do I want that colour? I'm not sure. Not sure, so I'm spending a little time experimenting. I'm going to get a bit darker. I'll start with the lightest green. I can always go back later and put in the darker flecks, but I really need to start with a much lighter green. That's a bit better. That's a bit better. Right, so let me start putting those in. Okay. Just a few flecks here and there. Then we can always go around this later. Again, being a little bit careful, just coming across here. Watercolour's like a game of chess. You have to think a few moves ahead, because as you keep painting, it's going to get darker and darker. There we go. This bit in down there. It's cutting through. Right, there's a bit of green. Right, okay, we've done the green, or have we? Well, actually, if we look at this, there's some more green going in here, and even over here as well. And we need to put that in early. So let's continue. Some of this olive green, just cut it with a little bit of turquoise there. Let's have a look. There's a bit there where it's sort of, and we got that bit that we want to leave. It's quite important there. That green going off to the distance, that's quite important. There. Keep that highlight here. Well, I've got a bit of that extra green in my brush, just going to get a bit lighter now here. Don't worry, it's like chess, thinking ahead. It's going to come a point where I'm going to use stronger colours. It's going to happen. Just while I've got the blue, I just want to come a bit more blue up here, leaving a bit of a highlight. Again, that will be picked up a little bit later. So as you can see, I'm getting it's coming together a bit more now. These are what are known as the mid-tone phase. I don't put any of these dark accents on until right at the end, and this is a common mistake made by a lot of artists. They just want to get into the dark bits too early, now, which is fine when it comes to other media like oil painting or acrylic. You can do that, but this is watercolour. You have to start light and end up dark. You have to go through that process for this to work. So anyway, we're getting there. We're just going to let this little bit dry, and then we'll get into the dark accents, and hopefully, voila, it will be done, I hope. Let's see what happens. Right, okay, getting there, isn't it? One thing I am doing, must remind everyone about this, is that I am retaining light. When I say retaining light, little bits of light, I'm not blocking everything in. I'm keeping the whole thing alive. That is very, very important. I think what I want to do now is just add a little bit more of this red in here, and maybe just drop it, even though it's not on here. I just want to drop a little bit of red, and I'm going to go for burnt sienna, which is there. I'm gonna mess it up with some of this residue that was already in here. I don't mind doing things like that. You can always drop in a little bit more red. There you go. Oh, that's quite nice. Now let's see what happens here. Let's see what. Yeah, it's quite nice. Try a bit more. Pull that round. Yeah, I think it's sort of needed that a little bit. Just going to drop a little bit in here as well. Just a little bit here and there. Quite nice. And where else? I think that's probably enough. I might just put a little bit. As well. Good. Good. Right, I think we're getting close now to the dark phases. The final dark phase. I think before that, it might even get a bit darker. No, I think that's all right. Right, okay, here we are. We've done our first light wash. We've done our mid-tones as well as we can. Now the bit that hangs everything together, which is the final, the dark accent right at the end, the drama, the shadow, the bit that brings together all the values of this dark and this light. These are the really important things with all painting. So I'm going to start. I'm looking at colours now. French ultramarine is a great colour to use. Lovely colour, French ultramarine. Just a little touch of indigo, just to darken it. Keep putting water to this because I want loads of this. I don't want to run out of this colour. And here we've got some alizarin crimson, gives it that sort of purpley look. Right, a bit more water, keeping it going. Just building up the pigment here. Nice deep weld to work in. You need to build up pigment. Don't be mean with your colours. Don't get all scratchy and sort of dabby. You want lovely and nice big brush strokes. So we're going to start from the top and work our way down. What sort of colour? That's lovely, nice purple. I think just a little bit more French, a bit more water, a bit more French. It's just getting that. Don't want to be too dark. Right, let's just see what this looks like. We can always come back. It's a bit wet there. Quite nice. Yeah, it's sort of working quite well. And underneath this, Quite nice. Lovely. Yeah, it's going to work well actually. Lovely. Lovely, nice colour. Yeah, I love that. Love it. And then we've got this sort of shadows going on here. We've got to make sure that we do this correctly. Leave little bits of light. Again, coming. These are the things that make watercolour really quite exciting. Just going to add a little bit more dark, so we got a little bit more contrast. It's darker in there. It's nice. Lovely, lovely, rich colours. Just going to push that over a bit more. You can see it's drying. I just need to. Good, lovely. Also over here, there's a sort of comes down. Building that out. Under here, just looking at this bit now. And you can drop colours, wet in wet, little bit of alizarin in there if you want, just to add that little bit of variety. Dots. Excuse me. So retaining light. Coming down here. Working over on the left hand side of the painting. Good. Now I'm going to just use a slightly lighter version just in here. Some darker bits going on. Some lovely dark bits in here. getting this angle, bit of negative painting there. Now to come along, just a bit lighter here. See, I'm looking at values at the moment. I'm looking at lights and darks and shades and trying to get some of that going. It's quite dark in here. Oops, a bit of strength there, coming down here, got that bit of angle. Retain that little bit of light. See, I'm still retaining that little bit of highlight, whatever that was. Come about here. The ends there. There's a little bit. And there we got it. That's just need a bit more dark, I think. Coming in here. See, I'm still trying to retain light wherever I can. And you know what? I actually think that's finished. I don't actually want to do any more. There is a person in there. I don't really want to put the person in. I just sort of like it the way it is. In fact, you could say that the person is there, isn't it, really? I suppose just happened by accident. I quite like some of the things going on. I like some of the colours that are going, the strengths of the light and the dark. That's what makes a painting happen. Less is more with watercolour, really important, and just knowing when to stop, basically. So I hope you've really enjoyed that, and please visit my website, www.frankwatercolours.com, and best wishes, and hope to see you again soon. Take care. Bye.